Welcome to Check Ball Show. I'm Austin Mills, Drew Hanlen, Frankie Delgado, and our guest World Series champ in the building, Jack Flaherty. We're very pumped to have the boy on the show.
Let's go! The Dodgers!
We're so nervous for this podcast.
Oh my goodness,
right
I don't know
now.
what is about to come out of your guys' mouths, right? It's unbelievable.
We started a group chat when Jack was on his way here. I asked for some Dodger merch, and they already started talking shit in the group chat. When he was on the way, I was worried that Jack was literally going to turn his car around and go back home.
No, Drew can't phase me that much, no matter what goes on.
Well, Drew does phase a lot of people, and he will put me in a blender every single time that I want to talk shit. He just starts saying things like, "What do you mean? You can't shoot?" Like, even if I just made 10 straight, Drew says one thing like that, and I'm done.
Trust me.
You can get in my head real
It's
quick.
actually pretty funny because I don't even think y'all know this, but the way that Jack and I met was kind of interesting. So you remember this. So, Frankie, this is your biggest nightmare. He was standing outside of a party in line and couldn't get in somewhere. And so we're walking in, and we walk in, and one of my buddies, Flaherty, was like, that's Jack Flaherty, the St. Louis Cardinals pitcher. So I walked back out. I was like, yo, are y'all good? He's like, oh, well, Jack showed up with like 6 dudes, and so they were like, sorry.
Typical.
Yeah,
Standard.
we can't get you and 6 dudes in. And fortunately, I knew the guy that was running the event, and so I was like, no, you're good. And we got him in. And then after that, we started talking just about the mentality of like some of the basketball players, and then he was working on the mentality of baseball.
Is this in St. Louis?
No, this is
No.
out here.
In LA?
It was at your place.
No way you can get into my place.
It
No, it was at the Sports Illustrated party.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Sports Illustrated party.
The first time I met Frankie, I brought, not the
Here
first
he
time, but
goes.
one of the first times I met him, I brought all my boys to the club. You know, he'd come to hide. I'm like, sure.
You DJ my
I
club.
No,
20 years
this was
ago.
before. This was before.
For
And
your
I
birth-
show up with all my guy friends, and he's like, where are your girls? Frankie thinks that you're supposed to roll up to a club with 11 girls. That's just how you
That's
hang
the
out.
ultimate wingman,
No-
Frank.
All guy
Ultimate
friends.
wingman, Frank.
Frankie's
He
got
knows
it.
the ratio.
Frankie's got
He knows
it.
what a ratio is.
It's just ratio, man. It's just keep it even. At least even. You know what I mean? But listen, at the end of the day, Jack not getting into a club makes me more wonder, what the heck?
But that was before he was a
This
World
was-
Series champ coach.
Yeah,
now
this
he's
was-
a World
Oh,
Series
before he was a
champ.
Dodger.
Yeah, all of
Or
the
he was a
above.
Dodger. He was a
All of the
Dodger.
above.
This
But you
was-
were the kid off Los Angeles, man. You played in LA. You played for Harvard Westlake, so you've been a Dodger your entire life at heart. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did it feel, man? I feel like that's one of the coolest things on earth that could have happened to anyone that grew up here. You've been wearing the Dodger jersey since you were a kid, and then you go up there and you're in the World Series, and you're like game one. It's you.
Yeah,
against the world,
yeah. I
pretty
mean,
much.
it's yeah. I was a Dodger all the way growing up, at heart, and I had to abandon it for years playing with St. Louis, and just being a part of that, knowing the kind of the rivalry that had gone on over during the playoffs and whatnot. So, I think parts of my family and friends, once playoffs came around, and if we got eliminated or whatnot, they'd still end up rooting for the Dodgers and whatnot. But whenever I came here to play against them, they'd have to root for me, which was a lot of fun. Was forcing them to root for me against the Dodgers, but then being traded over and giving them a chance to root for the same team, especially for my brother. That was probably cool. Talking to him and him being his text to me, being I'm really happy that I can root for the Dodgers again. For as long as it ends up being, I don't care. But it was special getting the ball in game 1 of the NLCS and game 1 of the World Series and winning the whole thing, and celebration and everything, and being able to just really live out a dream. And winning the World Series at any point would have been awesome, and then to win the first one here, I mean, that's second to none.
Well, so you pitched in St. Louis, and then you were in Detroit. What is the biggest difference you've seen? Obviously, you just won a World Series here, so it'll be a massive difference. But, being a pitcher on a baseball team isn't like being, LeBron James. What's the difference between being a pitcher in St. Louis and now winning a World Series and being a Dodger? How recognized are you? What are people offering you? What kind of crazy things are coming your way now?
I don't know.
He doesn't win in line anymore, Coach. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that there's when I think it just comes with how well you're playing, because when I was, playing really well in St. Louis, it was very similar in terms of anything there that went on, dinner, didn't matter. Like, it felt like somebody I'm not gonna get that here, but in St. Louis, like somebody wanted to like pick up my dinner. I was like that doesn't need to. That's
How come I always have to pick up the dinner here?
well, because you're coach. That's why.
Jesus.
But like here, here. It's just the support from the city and people being like, "Oh, you're from here. Like you grew up here. This is all that everybody wanted to do." And getting the kids that I played Little League with and the kids I played with in high school, just the endless support, one after the other. It just feels a little different coming from the hometown.
And having this recent blow up, are you like, obviously more people are coming out of the woodworks, people are reaching out that haven't before. Are you like responding to everybody? Are you, what's your outlook on that?
Hold on. Can I say something about this?
Please.
Oh my God. There was a close friends moment that he sent like on his Instagram where he was like,
If you don't text me on a random Tuesday in the middle of the season, that's how I am. Don't text me now.
If you don't want to
100%.
say hi before I played for the Dodgers, don't say hi to me now. Whatever it was, I wasn't in the close friend group. Somebody else sent it to me.
No.
And I was like,
I wasn't either.
Did he want to?
I was. Don't worry. I got the
Did he
message,
want to
Coach.
exclude me from it, or did he want to no? Because I was in the close
No.
friend. He must have kicked
Was
me out.
Frankie one of the people that you didn't want to reach out?
No. Frankie knows. Frankie gets it. He'll
It was
text
the
me.
opposite because I think that the people that had to see it are the people that he was like saying it to. Because if you
Yes.
can't say it to the people that he want, maybe it was
Yeah,
to
no,
you,
it was
like,
definitely wasn't because Drew texted me after a good game and a bad game, but there were certain ones that it was after Game 5 in New York, and I was getting messages from like, people I don't like. I hear from like we're friends and whatnot, but it was like a bad game. Be like, oh, keep your head up and whatnot. I'd be like, I'll be good. Like
my head's
I
up.
love it. I appreciate it, but at the same time, like I don't. I have a bad game regular season. Like I don't hear from you. Like I hear from my family and friends. And in regards to all that, like I don't think it's like there's people coming out of the woodworks. Not as much as you would think. Like I respond to the people that like I know and I've had a relationship with and that I've known for a while. If it's something else otherwise, and it's you gotta love and appreciate all the support and no matter where it's coming from. I think that's how I see it.
But you're also on the big stage, and I think that's why nobody watches. Like my family doesn't watch baseball on a regular basis here at the house, where like it's always on and stuff. But I do, right? So I'm watching it. But my son was even engaged on every game. My wife was sitting like cheering for you guys. Like it's when you're on the big stage. A lot of other people watch the game, and that's why you get more ratings, and that's why you're in the World Series.
Which is fine, but I don't need I'll take all the congratulations and the support and the love, like after a great game, fine. But I don't really want keep your head up after like a rough one. I'll be like I'll take that from like my close like family and whatnot that hear from me or they hit me after every game, and they also know like probably don't send me that message that day. Like wait another day because the response is not going to be great.
Yeah.
See, I'm always the sick one this is even after regular season games. But like
But you kept it consistent.
I text
Yes.
them all the time, and we'll just be like when things go well, right after the game, I hit him like, hey, why did it go well? Like, let's figure out what works and what causes you to hit the best pitches. Make sure that you're trusting your stuff, making sure you're putting batters out, all this kind of stuff. And then on bad games, I'll be the same thing. I'll be like, yo, what turned it? Why couldn't you get back? Why did the game speed up on you and stuff like that? Because it's funny, because I don't know baseball. Like, I grew up a huge Cardinals fan. So, like, I'd watch baseball. I loved, like, when they were winning and, McGuire years, even when they weren't, but it was just fun. But I never knew the ins and outs of baseball. But I know the ins and outs of the mental side of what athletes go through, from struggles to plateaus to, dominance. And so that's what we always talk about. Like, it doesn't matter how good or bad the game is. I'm like, hey, let's figure out what was working and why it was working. Let's figure out what wasn't working and why it wasn't working. And it was cool. I learned a lot this year about him making adjustments and other teams making adjustments. And, talk about that a little bit because I think that'd be –
Hold on, Drew, but I don't think you said it in that kind of really nice way. So, because I know you must have said some shit that really, like, will get in deep in your brain.
Be honest.
So, Jack, please let us know what he was sending you.
No,
man.
it's both. it comes across in both ways where he really will ask and like want to know and understand. Like he's like Drew is still like he's trying to learn it and figure it out, because it's I think it's not just athletes, but for people everywhere, like the mentality part is something that's so huge. But there's little different intricacies that go on. You know, we talk about, you know, like the adjustments for like a starting pitcher have to be faster than faster than a basketball player. Like, you know, I get in between, you know, every half inning, in between innings to try to make my adjustment, and I got to make it like that. Like I don't get a halftime, you know, I don't get to struggle until halftime and then be able to come out in second half and bring my team back. If I struggle, like I'm out of the game, and it could happen like that. And it's one of those things that, you know, it comes with the territory. It's like us and hockey goalies. Like if you struggle from the jump, like you're getting subbed out and somebody else is going to get you, and you got to hope the team picks you up that day. But it's one of those things like, yes, Drew will call me and he will talk his shit, because that's what he does. And usually he calls me to talk his shit, but the texts are like, you know, what went on, what happened, you know, you gotta, you know, it just looks like it looks like you are unsure about yourself out there, and so go say some stuff like that.
It's little things, because again, it's not even from a baseball standpoint, but like it might be like a couple years ago when he went through, you know, he had injuries, and you know he found out that he was doing some things mechanically that were kind of leading to some of those injuries, you know, if that's kind of right, you know? And so we had to make some adjustments. And I was like, hey, one of the things we do in basketball, if we're making a shot change, we do a lot of overlay where we'll like see what, you know, you do when you do well, what you do when you do poorly. We compare those two. I was like, have you done that? Or it's little things like, how can you be more efficient with your movements? Or it's little things where I'm like asking him mental side, like, hey, if we just drew the strike grid, how many times could you hit, you know, the strike grid out of 100? And he'd be like, I mean, literally, if there was no batter up there every time. And I'm like, okay, what about if you divided it into 4? And he's like, well, 75 out of 100 times I could hit the exact corner that I want. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
How do we get that mentality up there where you trust yourself enough? And, you know, there was a time during the year where, you know, he was like, kept getting 2 strikes on guys and then would just throw junk after junk. And then it'd be, you know, 3-2 full count now. And I was like, you gotta trust yourself to put guys out. Don't, you know, they know that you're trying to get them swinging. So it's more of like me just observing, not even being a baseball, you know, guy. It's just more of me being like a guy that's observing and being like, I can tell when he trusts his stuff. And then there's other times where, you know, one of the things we talked about after game 1 was obviously he had a great outing.
Incredible
outing. 1 bad pitch leads to, you know, 2 runs. But I said, hey, if your team had scored 3 runs and you were up 3-2 and you had given up those 2 runs in the first inning and then you would have, you know, walked off after 5 1/3, everyone would have been standing up applauding you because you'd have been leaving the game a winner, and you would have been, you know, felt really good about that. And I was like, you got to kind of put things in perspective. You know what I mean? And so I think it's more about that.
I think it was 1 bad pitch to the wrong guy, to a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, who was that?
Oh.
Frank, we talked about this
We
too.
did. I just knew it was going to come up.
One guy.
It starts with me actually being very positive and like trying to convince him, like, listen, you had a great outing. Like, you did your job. You know what I mean? You only gave up 2 runs to a great lineup. You know, you did enough to give your team a chance to win. I said, but once, like, later on in that night, once he finally started talking like baseball, I go, but do you remember the conversation that we had at High? Because there was a conversation where Zach Levine and I were joking around, and we were telling him, we were like, oh, we could easily hit you like 10 out of 100 times. And
Never.
He was like, are you kidding me? Like, he was getting like, you know, emotional. So then Stanton walks in, and I go, how many times could he hit you? And he was like, I don't know what you said, but
that was a good night. I remember that.
That
That was a fun night.
That was
shot o'clock night. That's for sure.
I don't know what you said, but he was like he'd maybe go yard on me like 3 out of 100 at bats or something like that. And then I go, do you remember that conversation? That was one of the 3. He was like, man, he goes, I hate you, but yeah, I remember.
Jesus stud, and he knows it. But
to be honest, I think he just that one. By the way, no one else is reaching for that ball that way or even getting it far. He golfed that ball.
But it's also like one of those things
swung
like
like
you
a
compare it to
golfer on that
basketball.
one. The ball was down there.
You compare it to basketball, it's like, you can play the best defense in the world that you want. Guys,
But
are
a
still
score's
gonna
gonna
make
score.
shots. They're-
Yeah, it's like it's 1-on-1. Like you're gonna have the basketball's gonna have the same reaction no matter who it is. That
But
you ask Zach that question against anybody in the league, he says he's gonna get him.
Zach was very convinced because Zach played baseball growing up, and Zach hit a home run in the celebrity Major League Baseball. So he literally
It's a softball though.
It's a softball
do you
game.
remember he sent us a group text
Yes.
message with his home run, and the fence was in the outfield. You know how they
Yes.
the fence up? And he was like, "I've told you."
Yes.
And Jack was like, "Bro, you can't be serious." And he texted me on the side and was like, "There is no way Zach really." He's like, "I thought y'all were just talking trash," but it was
How
fun
about
because
to start off? He can throw this ball. Let's just say if he throws it 90 miles per hour, just to like give it a lower rate. He throws it 90 miles per hour, and he throws it at your head just to get you ready. Like he's gonna throw at your head, like you have to do this. You're like, oh shit, the ball
That's
can
a wrap.
actually hit you. Let me back off a little bit. Let me figure this out because you can be like he can hit you. This thing can hit you really hard.
Wait, so Jack, out of 100 pitches, how many times would Zach Levine hit the ball?
0. Zach's not
Into
touching
play.
the ball. Zach's not touching
Not
the ball.
touching the ball.
Unless it's a butt.
Time out.
No.
You're saying 0 hits? Or
No,
you're
Zach's
talking
not
about 0
touching.
times putting the ball
Zach's
in play?
not going to touch the ball.
Wow. Out of 100 pitches.
Zach's not touching the ball.
That's crazy.
But we're not
Like,
gonna.
he's not touching the ball.
Is there
100.
any
Let's just
NBA
say-
player
let's
that
say,
could
let's
put?
say 20 pitches
is-
because 100's a lot.
No,
He's
but
still
we're saying
20.
he's
He's saying
alive.
0.
Sit it on 100. He's
He's
not
saying
touching it.
0.
You give me a whole game. You give me.
Now we
he's
did
not.
we did put an asterisk. We said it has to be full swings. He can't just remember we said it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no
can't
bunts.
just- no
You can't
bunts.
bunt.
It has to be a full swing.
He's not
Okay.
touching the ball.
Are there any professional basketball players, any NBA players, out of 100 pitches on you that could put the ball into play? No bunting, an actual hit.
I'm trying to think of who played baseball, like in any shape or form. Like
What about just like an athlete,
Michael
like a
Jordan.
LeBron?
Into college?
Like a LeBron.
Michael Jordan.
I don't think any of them. I don't think any of them currently right now would. No,
It's
like
crazy.
like you took them right now, no training, nothing, and you put them in the box. No, absolutely not.
I think-
You'd say like he trained, worked. He had his whole progression
I
through
think
it.
Steph Curry, for some reason, would be the only one that would hit the ball.
If
that guy is
They
just-
do. They do.
He
By
can
all
hit-
means.
Look at him how he plays golf. Like this guy, or like an Austin Reeves, where like he has good hand-eye coordination. What is it? Handball. How do you say
Hand-eye
it?
coordination.
Hand-eye coordination.
Wait, I just looked this up. Michael Jordan in his baseball career, 202 average, 21 extra base hits, 51 RBIs, and 11 errors in
We don't
127 games.
we don't talk about minor league stats around here. That's a story that I've been told is we don't tell minor league stories.
We
Fair.
don't tell minor
Very
league
fair.
stories. But he played for the White Sox, didn't he?
Yeah, in the minor leagues.
Oh,
Double
Still
A.
impressive. To be the
I give up a hit to
greatest
Walker
basketball player
Buehler
of all
in
time.
the minor leagues. Ask him how many hits he got in the big league. He loves to tell that story.
Okay.
What's
Fair
that
enough.
story?
Walker, his one hit, maybe ever, other than his one home run in the big leagues. He was a hit off me in Double A, and he loves telling that story.
So now,
Okay, so
That's
hold
how
on.
we
I got-
met.
I
That's
got
how
a
we
question.
met.
I got a
Drew and
question
were
for
talking
you.
about this.
All right, so Jack is getting more and more confident. He's very confident in his skills.
Yeah, you've
So
made
I
me
heard-
be this way.
I love it.
Cocky.
Because you've made me be this way because
love
that's
it.
what you say.
I love it.
I used to give
because
you the
when I met him,
whatever
I was
answer.
like, bro, do you realize how talented you are? Because he went, you had an under 1 ERA for the second half of the season, your rookie season, right? Pitching.
Yeah, my second year.
It was unbelievable. And so I was like, you've proven, there's proof that you are one of the most talented pitchers there are. Now, I've also saw when I was doing a little research for this that you said you could probably make the MLB as a shortstop if you would have kept playing there. So I'm going to ask you this question. If you were batting on yourself, how many hits would you get against yourself? Put himself in the zone.
Oh, how many hits? How many at bats are we talking?
We'll just say 100. So we'll just say what's your batting average against yourself?
Against myself? Wow. I'm gonna hit.
I love this because it doesn't know to
Damn.
say. He doesn't want to say bad number because then it makes him look like a bad hitter, but a good number.
Are you a good
No, I'm gonna
hitter?
say
Like,
I'm gonna hit 150 against myself right now.
150.
That's a fair number.
150.
That's
I'm
the
gonna hit
safe way
150
out.
against myself
So
right
a
now.
shitty batter is what he's saying.
Yeah, right now 100%. I
Who
ain't
was a
hit.
better
I have
batter,
not hit
you
in
or
a couple
Kershaw?
years.
Because I know Kershaw was a good. He was a good.
I think
batter.
Kirsch and I had this argument, and he just said you have to check the numbers, and I was like, I can't argue with that. So
'Cause
he's got the better numbers. Like by all means, like he
So
did
hold
it.
on. Okay, let's do another thing. If Frankie was batting against you, and I was on it, and
I don't
I
think
was no
I'm
Frankie,
gonna
hold on, listen.
I'm gonna beat you to this. I'm not touching a ball.
Hey, and
Not one of these.
hey, and I'm
I know
I'm on a golf course and I'm 150 yards out. Do I hit a hole in one first, or does Frankie get a hit against you
I
first?
think
You
I think you hit a hole in one first.
Sure.
I think we all say that. I hit a hole in one first before I hit one.
Yeah, 100%.
What time is it?
I don't know.
Well, it's Prize Picks times, my boys.
Okay.
And it's my favorite time of the day because this is when I make my choices of how low or high am I going to go.
Well, I did a lot of more on Jay Flair in the World Series. Won me a lot of money.
I did a lot of less runs, less everything. And it got me a lot of money on certain games.
Well, right now, if you play $5, you get 50 instantly. All you have to do is make a few selections, and if you hit those selections, you win the money instantly. Prize Picks is our favorite platform to use.
Show me the money.
Wait, so Drew talked about, you becoming more confident, more cocky, and we don't see you talk shit very often.
I don't like the word cocky. I just
No, you
No,
need
no,
a little bit of
like
cockiness.
I know
You
what
need
you
a
mean,
little bit of
but
cockiness.
yeah,
You need
yeah.
a little bit.
He likes
Go
that
ahead.
word, though.
I don't like the word cocky.
But he likes it.
in
I
the-
like
like
I like
arrogance.
confident and
I like arrogance.
cocky. Like for me, is I have to go out of my way to talk about how good I can be or whatnot. Like I don't,
Right.
I don't
No,
need
let's
to
just
do
say
that.
let's just say confident.
Sure.
We saw in the Padres series you and Manny going back and forth. What caused that? And
Now, what was the real story behind it? Because
Yeah.
I've never seen you do that. Like, you're always just quiet and just like.
There's always a little voice in my head as I'm pitching that's going on, and if you see me walk around the mound and I get the ball back from the third baseman and I talk into my glove, that's pretty much what I'm saying to myself over and over, like into my glove until I turn around. And look, that was a huge spot. Tatis gets hit. He doesn't say anything. I have no reason. I've said it before. I have no reason to hit him in that spot. We're losing the game 3-1. I just started to get on a roll. And, I talk about making adjustments. I missed in the first inning on that same pitch and threw it down the middle and he hit over the fence. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to make sure I get this off the plate. And it hits him. He walks to first. He says nothing. There's words exchanged between, Profar and our catcher. Manny's talking to Doc. I'm like, I'm not really paying attention. And Profar lays down a good bunt. Now it's first and second. It's a huge at-bat. Manny's a stud, like one of the all-time greats. And I get him to swing at a pitch. I don't get the call the pitch before. He swings at a pitch on a ball off the plate. And, man, it just comes out. Like I was one of those, like, fired up, like, really should have just gone on in my head. And I said some things to him, and to his credit, he walked off. He nodded his head. He's like one of those ultimate competitors. And I come out of the game. Some things happen in between innings, and there's some more words that get exchanged. The problem is that it caught me at the tail end of it instead of our entire dugout. The video of me and him going back and forth. Which is, look, you can barely hear what the other person's saying out there. For me, it's playful banter and whatnot.
Was he
But
like,
yeah.
congratulations, bro?
We said
You struck me
congrats.
out.
We
He's
said
like, "Whoa,
congrats
he's
and
talking
everything.
shit."
was there
Look.
anything in your mind knowing that he's like a big scuffler in the league that like there might have been a scuffle about to happen? Like he was
Look,
gonna
man,
charge
if
the
it
play?
happens, it happens. Like,
Are you ready?
if it happens, it happens.
Are you ready?
If it happens, it happens.
Do I have to get you ready, or are you ready?
Like,
Because thunder and lightning.
look,
you know what I
man.
mean?
Look, I'm not here I'm here to do my job, and that fighting has been pretty much taken out of pretty much every sport, and so it was just a back and forth exchange.
I just want you to be ready like Nolan Ryan was ready.
Hey,
That's the
look,
ultimate thing, right?
Look, it's the whole thing. If you pitch inside, some guys are gonna get hit, and guys don't like getting hit, and it's just something that is gonna continue to happen.
All right, let me ask you this. So, you talked about you doing a lap around the mound and talking to yourself and stuff like that. I feel like pitching, is one of the most pressure situations there is in sports. You know what I mean? Because it's literally your responsibility to try to get the batter out. What are the kind of things that are going through your mind? You have a mantra, don't think. And that was one of the big things that we actually started talking about, was because there was a lot of times where when he was going through the injury and the change in your mechanics where all you did was think. And I was like, your mantra is literally don't think, and you're nonstop like clouded up top. But like, what are the things that you say to yourself to get yourself in the right mind frame to be calm, not let the game speed up on you, et cetera?
So I think the weird thing about baseball is that we're viewed as being on defense, but we're the only sport, I think the only sport where we're on defense and we have the ball in our hands. So one thing that I was given by my pitching coach in St. Louis, Mike Maddox, he always preached that like we're on offense, like we have the ball in our hands, we get to control a thing. They have to hit the ball past, they hit the ball past 7 defenders and yourself. And so his whole thing was like play offense, be on attack, get ahead, stay ahead. And so like you talked earlier about I get to 2 strikes and the next it's 3-2 because I start nibbling. Greg Maddox has quotes about guys wasting pitches when they get to 0-2 and when the hitter's at their most defensive at that point. Like we're on offense. Like the entire time we have the ball, we're on offense and we need to be in attack mode. And there's no room for, we call it nibbling, where we're like, there's some days you're gonna hit the corners, you're gonna hit the glove every single time, and everything's gonna work out the way it is. You're gonna get about 5 starts in a year that way. You're gonna get about 5 starts where things go really bad, and you don't know how bad those are gonna be. Some are gonna be terrible, some are going to be not so bad, and then you're going to have 20 other starts during the year where your stuff is your stuff. You're going to have an inning where it's incredible, you're going to have an inning where it's okay, and that's going to determine what your year is. And so if you can stay on the attack more and you can go right after guys and not overthink too much and trusting your stuff, which is what he says is the hardest thing to do, is just to trust your stuff over the plate and to get guys out. Those are the things that go on, but all those thoughts have to go on before I get onto the mound. Because once I get on the mound, then it's just compete. But you got to be in a position to be able to have some confidence and trust it.
That's crazy. Well, so your mantra is don't think, right? When you were at the World Series celebration, and
he wasn't thinking much, Coach.
Was that part of the mantra there with like drinking a little bit, your mom's drinking a little bit, like you guys were just celebrating? Like, dude, it just looked like you finally like everything was off your back and you were ready to like just celebrate and let it all go.
I was very buttoned up all year, and
you
was on a mission after the way that last year had gone to do a lot of things well. And the parade starts going on and we're enjoying ourselves. We're having a good time. Like, and you see everybody in LA, like it's packed so deep, and then someone grabs you, pulls, say, oh, look over here, look the other side. And it's packed just as deep. And I'm with I got my family, I got my mom, my brother, seeing how happy they are, my 2 closest friends. And it was just like, it was so surreal. And then, my mom starts drinking a little bit of tequila, and I got a little fired up and was like, everybody needs to follow what she just did.
But it all started, I think that the moment for me, like where you kind of got the whole city behind you no matter what, was when you got that win and your mom and you just go and hug it out. And it just became like that moment where like, shit, we did it. And people got emotional about that. I was here at my house. My mom goes like, "Oh, that's the most beautiful moment."
Yeah, after game one in NLCS. Yeah, that's I've been lucky enough to have a handful of moments like that with my mom. It's a little difficult sometimes getting her down there, but she was down there after the game, and they had asked me to come out and do a couple things, and I got to have that moment with her and just give her a big hug. It's something I've done since I was in high school, where I'd go after the game and give her a hug, and it's one of those things that's the love and support that I get from her and from my family and from close friends, from you guys, that this may sound, but it allows me to go out there and compete with no real like fear of failure. Because if I go out and I have a bad game, like, the sun's gonna come up the next day, and I'm going to get another chance to go out and do it again in 5 days. And my family and my close group is going to have my back no matter what. And so it gives me the ability to go out there and, this is one of those quotes that Kobe has that I don't think anybody ever uses, is that it gives them the support to go out and fail. He's like, and his quote was, I think it was from his dad or something. He said it was, you know, I don't care if you go out and score 0, you score 60. I'm gonna love you no matter what. And I try to take that with my mom, but then, you know, he finishes that and he says, well, fuck that. I'm gonna go score 60. And
you have the options.
right. If you're gonna give me the option, you're gonna love me no matter what. Like, that's great. I'm gonna go score 60. And so for me, it's like, I know they're gonna be there no matter what. But I'd much rather them be there after a day like that, after the NLCS Game 1.
So not saying that the World Series was a breeze for you guys. You guys did win the series 4-1. But I don't think what a lot of people realize is Kershaw's hurt. Ohtani's hurt. You guys have even more pitching than you already have. We saw you guys like basically empty out the bullpen in Game 5. How much easier or how much better are you guys with those two guys pitching?
I mean, I could name 4 other guys too that you could add to that. With, if you know, Kersh being healthy, you know, Sho's coming off TJ, he dislocates his shoulder in Game 2. He was grinding it out for Games 3, 4, and 5. You could see it. His swing was just a little bit off. We don't have Tyler Glass now. We don't have Gavin Stone, who threw the most innings on the team that year. River Ryan gets hurt. Like, you had so many guys go down. You know, Walker came back after dealing with injury as well. We lose Evan Phillips in the World Series. We don't get him. Bruce Dark-Gratterall and Alex Vesia missed the NLCS. They come back, play big roles in the World Series. Like, it was truly like, you know, the next guy's going to pick you up no matter what. So you look at Game 5 was like a kind of a microcosm of all that, where, you know, I go out and I struggle. Like, I don't pitch well. And I go in and Walker gives me a little tap on my leg, as if to just be like, look, we got this. We're gonna get this done. And it picked me up out of my feelings real quick, because I was upset, as I think any competitor would be. And I went back out there in the 4th inning. Normally I don't go back out. Like, I'm just like, I'm frustrated for the rest of the game. And then if we win that game in the regular season, like, I'll be inside. I'll high five everybody. Like, cool, great, like, awesome. I'm as happy as can be that we win the game. And I'm gonna go figure out what happened. I'm gonna get better. For that one, I went out in the 4th. You know, Muncie said it the other day. It was a weird feeling in the air. Like, Cole was throwing a no-hitter, but there's a weird buzz about the stadium. It was real nervous energy, and you could feel it. Like, they were up 5-0, but
Scared.
yeah, it was a nervous feel, and the boys just kept chipping away, and things happened in that inning the way that they happened, and then it's 5-5, and we got a brand new ball game, and it was like, all right, like the you know, we kept saying, you know, we're gonna let the big dogs eat, the guys coming out of the pen. And they came in one after the other, did their job, and we get down to the end, and it's Walker Buehler on the mound, and I'm like, nah, yeah, it's a wrap. Because, yeah, I don't know how many other people believed it, but he had it.
How can you not be nervous when it's like your bottom of your lineup is like probably a lineup that could be 2, 3, 4.
It's as deep
in
as
any
it
other
gets.
team, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you have Kike, you had Will Smith, then you have Tommy, then you had, and then you go back to Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie. Like, it's just like Teoscar. Like, it doesn't stop.
You got the NLCS MVP hitting 9th. I mean, that's as good as it gets. You don't hear that. It was incredible.
I gotta ask another Dodgers question. Ohtani, he can speak English, right? Like, great English.
Great English.
Yeah, it's like,
he's as normal.
every
as
time
they
I
come.
see a picture of him with a girl, the girl's smiling. I'm like, he's flirting with every girl. But then when he gets on the you know, the interviews, post game interviews, he's just looking at his translator.
Well,
I'm like,
yes, it is easier to. It's easier to have the translator there, because there's a lot of questions coming at him and whatnot. And I'm sure he understands it, but it's more like, I want to make sure I say the right thing, so I'd rather do it in Japanese. But to us, like, I mean, I came over and we were able to, like, have conversations, especially baseball, or just, you know, BS. And he speaks a pretty good amount of English, which just goes to the work that he's done and in his time since he's been here. And that goes for same with a lot of the Latin players. They go through English classes, and it's impressive, like, that they're able to do that and learn that much English.
He just learned how to say blacked out.
I mean, he probably said it to me at some point.
so he obviously is arguably already, like, on his way to becoming the greatest baseball player of all time. What makes him so special? Like, you've been around some really good players, you know what I mean? What makes him so much more special than everyone else you've been around?
Well, he's as big of an icon as it gets. Like he's like, for me, he's on the level of the guys in the NBA and in the NFL. Those top end guys. Like, you know, I know he hasn't accomplished what like LeBron has over his career or what Mahomes has, but when you look at his impact in Japan, like, and just hearing from Lars Nootbaar going through the WBC last year and what he was able to do and the amount of attention that's on him and the amount of exposure that he has, the amount of cameras that are always in his face following him around. But the fact that he's still able to go out and perform and never seem like he's nervous or never seems like he's ever going to go into a slump or never gets – you don't see him get frustrated. And I think that's crazy to me that I didn't see him like really get frustrated or carry an at bat with him one to the next, because I could always look at him before he would go out there. And, you know, whether it bothered him or not, I don't know. But he was cool about it. And, you know, he could be 0 for 3 and we're going to the 8th inning. Maybe we're winning or tied. And I'd kind of just look at him and be like, you know, Sho, when are you going to do something today? And he'd just look and he'd smile and he'd just kind of nod his head. So whether that was I hate you right now or okay, like I got you. Just watch. And then he'd go out and do something incredible. And
it was crazy. The numbers that he had hitting with runners in scoring position and runners on base was, I mean, it was incredible. At one point I looked up and I was like, that looks like a free throw percentage of a great shooter.
It was unbelievable. He was like 18 of 22 with runners on base, which is incredible. What he was able to do at the plate this year while still rehabbing and getting his throwing in and doing everything. Like,
yeah,
that's incredible.
Crazy. Well, something really cool happened with between me and Jack during when you were in between getting traded, or you weren't even getting traded yet. You were still with Detroit, I think, but you were here like working like doing some rehab or something during 4th of July. And we went and hung out on the 4th of July. We just, because he was being responsible and just like want to see the fireworks. So we went to the golf course and we were just seeing the fireworks that day. And it was me, our boy Mac, and like a bunch of the family was there. And we were talking about like, can you imagine if you get traded to the Dodgers? Right?
Yeah.
We were literally it was like, could you, and then you win the World Series in LA? Like that would be the sickest thing.
Yeah.
We literally talked about it. So for me, I've always been like I don't know if you guys will ever believe me, but when I lived in Tijuana, I always said like one day I'm gonna live in LA and I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that, and I even drew it one day like on a paper like how my house was gonna look, and I drew like a basketball court, I drew the cars that I was gonna have, the family, and to the T, I have that thing. And I always kind of like say things into existence just in case. I feel like when we talked about it, I just feel like there was something about like I saw him and he like. That would be sick, and I feel like that moment, like it just started the wave of it happening, and it just became you. A week later, you were a Dodger.
Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those things. Sometimes you manifest things, you believe them like 100%. Like those kind of things will come true.
Frankie, can you look me in my
So
eyes?
wait,
and tell
so
me
Frankie
I'm
won the World Series.
No.
Frankie
He said
won the
it.
World
He
Series.
said it.
No, I'm kidding.
He was saying
Tell
it,
me
and
I'm
I was
gonna
like
make
saying
$100
like, yo.
He said it, and I said that'd be really
Like
really
I
cool.
was
It'd be
saying it
awesome.
like it'd be cool, and then he started saying it too. So I was like, man, this is.
I mean, it always would.
And then the fireworks were happening as we were saying it, so it kind of was like a moment, dude. It was magical and it was dope. And I think, listen, I know that it was kind of something really cool for us that you know, at the end of the day it happened, and we got to celebrate it every single win. Every single milestone we were celebrating like it had already happened.
And hopefully you're going to come back to us next season. That's the goal.
We'll see what happens.
Incredible.
I only control so much in that.
Do you think about
Show
that kind
me
of
the
stuff?
money.
Like you have enough pressure on you now. You're pitching in the World Series. You're facing the Yankees. Is it a contract extension? Is any of that stuff in your mind, or is that like in another place?
That all went away once the regular season was over. Like in terms of free agency, whatever happens, the goal this year was to go out and pitch well and not make up for the way that I pitched last year, but last year was for me, it felt like an anomaly and one of those things that I needed I needed to go out and pitch well this year, and I was able to do that. But the great thing is once the regular season's over, all the stats reset. And look, stats in the playoffs are going to be inflated because it's a much smaller sample size. And
You're also playing against the best of the best.
yes, and so it's a much smaller sample size. So if, like, I don't know, you look at my playoff stats, they're not great. I had 2 really good ones. I had 1 okay one. I had 2 really bad ones. But
you're also
we
playing
won
against the
at
best.
the end of the day. Yeah, we're playing against the best, but at the end of the day, we won. We won 3 of my 5 starts, regardless of how they happened, and but all the regular season stats go out the window, and you worry about free agency once that's all over. At that point, let's win. Now we're here, let's go win this thing.
Right. Well, we are a basketball show. You obviously grew up a Laker fan. What are your thoughts on the Lakers? What are your thoughts on JJ Redick right now?
It's been great to watch their offense actually do some things and move around outside of the game last night against Detroit. That was
This is after
that was
Austin's
not
hot
great.
take about they being the number 1 seed in the West.
They looked great.
That was the opposite of manifesting, coach.
I
They've
jinxed
gone
it
the other
into
direction.
existence.
I
What
have
are
to
you
say it,
doing?
not you. I have to say it.
I fully jinxed it into existence. It's so bad.
It's been much more fun to watch them actually move around and do things and run some of the offense through AD.
Who are your top 5 guys in the league this year?
Top 5 players in the league.
Let's
First
go
off,
center, power forward.
By position.
Yeah.
Oh,
by
he just said top
position.
5.
You said top 5.
Yeah,
No,
top
'cause
5.
it's
Let him do top 5.
Let him do top 5.
Top 5. Well, the problem
right.
is I have barely been able to watch any basketball because everything has been
Baseball
it's been baseball.
You play a lot of games.
It was a lot, and I don't know. We'd be at I wish we would just. The thing is, when we're at the stadium, the only thing that's on is MLB Network and baseball, or if it's Sunday, it's football, or Thursday football. I wish they would just put the basketball game on, and we could watch it. But I'm also usually too busy doing things. But my 5. Let's see how many of Drew's clients are going to on this list.
That's all I was waiting for.
You don't have to say that.
One of
don't have to
them
say that.
is going to get on there.
Just one.
At least one. I'm
Okay.
trying to think
Just
in my
one.
head.
There's only one.
There's definitely more than one.
There's only one right now, top 5.
There's definitely more than one right now.
only
Well,
one. Only one top 5.
There's
There's one.
Wait,
top
I just
five.
want to hear your
thinking about
top
who I'm
5.
missing.
Who are your top 5? Just name them.
I have 3 in my head. With I don't even know how he's been playing this year, but Jokic, Luka, Jason. And I'm trying to think. Joel's not going to be in my top 5 as much as
Oh.
He's
that's
not
gonna
playing
upset
right
you.
now.
What's that?
He's not playing right now. That's what I'm saying. If he
Giannis
was
is in
playing,
there.
it would be
Giannis
2.
has got to be in
I
there.
was gonna say Giannis, and I don't know who fills out that 5. Who's another one of your clients that you think
I'm just asking. This is your top
should-
5.
should be in
You
there?
already said that the guy that averaged 35, 11, and 6 was not in your top 5.
I'll
So
tell him
your
that.
list is automatically disqualified. So this is just for
This
fun.
was last year. That
This
was
is
last
just- this
year.
is
Talking
just
about
for
this
That was
fun at this
last
point.
year.
Well,
That was
guess
last
what?
year.
Guess what?
What are we, 7-8 games into this year?
Guess
and
what?
I've watched maybe 2 games so far. That was last year.
It is honestly your conversation so far about basketball has shown that you've only watched 2 or so games this year,
100%.
and your
I'm
basketball
here to
knowledge
say
is
it.
low. I will say this though, there was a time where when he is in his head during baseball season, one of the things you like to do is go get in the gym. That's like he
we
used
did
to
that.
text me back, can I get a gym? Can I go shoot around, stuff like that.
So we did that. We did, and I can say it now. I went with 2 of my close friends. So we went. When was this? This might have been right before playoffs. And I needed to just reset and relax a little bit because we had a couple days off and we got to go get in the UCLA practice facility and just shoot around. Nothing crazy, because it just is one of those things that for me, other guys do with other things, whether it's video games or whatnot. It's the most head clearing thing possible. And we went in there an hour, maybe 2, and just to be able to go do that was it just cleared the mind right before it, and it was okay, this was really nice. And
Who are the other hoopers on the team?
on the team? I know Mookie can hoop.
Mookie loves
Mookie loves
He
it.
can play every sport. He can golf. He can pickleball.
Mookie's
he can
incredible.
play baseball. He can play
You
basketball.
played pickleball with him.
Yeah, I
didn't
play
you?
pickleball. He's really good.
Oh, I got to ask you a question because it drives me nuts.
Oh,
It's
no.
football, too. It drives me absolutely nuts. I get it. I understand that every guy has,
Puka?
their swag. But like,
What Puka said?
no, the
Oh,
necklaces.
the necklaces, it's not my thing.
What's the why?
I
Why do
got
they wear
like
so much
2
jewelry?
gifts that I wear one like, but it's not my thing. I don't.
Like,
it just
I love Mookie. I think he's so dope, but it like hits him in the face when he runs back from the outfield. It's like
That was a Bo Jackson, no, Deion
Yeah.
Sanders thing, bro. Like Deion Sanders, like used to wear the
Yeah,
all
I don't-
gold.
it's gotta be uncomfortable.
hey man, I don't know. That's
Let
what they
them
do. I
be.
can't wear it when I wear one necklace when I'm pitching because sometimes it'll wrap around. And I don't want it to like hit me, but. Some guys, they just, I don't know how they do it. It's not my thing.
Football players are wearing like watches.
Hey,
I'm like,
hey,
what's
man,
going
if
on?
you got it, they want to show it off.
Hey.
But
Puka said yesterday that, or 2 days ago, he said that he could easily transition to being a starting basketball player.
That's insanity.
0%.
0%.
I mean, I don't know. We already had this. We already had this
Zero.
conversation.
Well, on the
Wait,
flip
who's
side,
your top? Wait, who's your top 5?
on the
I'm
flip
not
side,
answering my
I
top
need to
5. Your
answer-
top 5 hasn't
All right,
been
you
is
can-
already
can I have-
irrelevant. So
You want my help
Yes.
of who the best 5 players are now?
Yes.
If we're talking about playing right now, people that are playing, not it, you know
no,
my
listen,
all
the
time.
question was who are the top 5 players? Go ahead.
But
I hope you bring it up because we're going to dinner with Joel tonight, and
I
I
can't
cannot
wait.
wait till
I
you not
can't
have him in
wait.
your top
I
5.
what
will
did I
tell
say?
him that to his
So what I'm
face.
saying is, are they playing or not playing? Like, does it matter?
Doesn't matter. It's
no,
just
in
are you
general,
a
not
top
playing.
top five
Just
player.
top 5 period.
Okay. Well, then I can't say R.J. Barrett because R.J. Barrett is playing like an MVP right now, thanks to you.
First off, I love RJ, but he's not a top 5 player.
Right now he
I'm
is.
just saying, though, like, let's just say there's
Right
just-
now he's playing like a top 5
yeah,
player.
I understand what you're
Awesome,
saying.
but it's
If you
just
were to
who are the
ask me
best
this
5
going-
players?
if you're asking
Hey,
me
Joel
going into, like,
Embiid-
going into the season,
Yeah, going into the
it
season.
would have
If
been
Joel
Joel,
Embiid-
Jokic, Luka, Jason,
And Giannis.
and Giannis. That would have been my 5.
That'd have been a
going into
solid
the
5
season.
list.
Going into the season.
That would have been a solid.
I'm
5
really
list.
just saying no to Joe right now because I know we're gonna go to dinner and I want to spark a little. So I get
Is-
both of you a
Let me
little
ask.
bit riled
Let
up.
me ask you this: do you think the hardest thing in all of sports is hitting a baseball?
Yeah.
Or a golf ball. Baseball or a golf ball.
Yeah, but
The
the golf ball's
difference is
at
golf
least
ball's stationary.
stationary.
I can hit a golf ball.
The golf ball's still stationary.
No,
It's
but
hitting
like
a golf
well.
ball
Kinda,
consistently.
coach. Kinda,
It's hitting a
coach.
golf ball consistently straight.
Yes,
Yes. But I mean, hitting a baseball or hockey.
Hitting a 3?
But I'll ask you this:
Hockey
is it
too.
harder? Is it harder for like somebody to score on one of the best defenders in the NBA, or is it harder for somebody to get a hit against you? Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're comparing it, or like maybe hockey, you're on skates and have to score
Hockey,
against a
you're
goalie.
like, yeah, hockey, you're on.
So if
you're
you
on
rank,
skates
if you rank
trying
those, if you rank the hardest things to do in sports, what would be the top 5 hardest things to do in sports?
Number 1 would be hitting a baseball. 2 for me would be really probably scoring a goal in hockey while you're going against 4 other guys out there.
You don't think
5
getting
other
in
guys
a
out there.
you don't think getting in a ring just ranks right up there because if you don't know how to even throw,
If
a
you got in a
punch,
ring with a
you're
good
fucked.
boxer
You're
and they hit you
coach.
in the ribs,
You're-
you're
you're-
you're
you're
instant.
No,
No,
I
you're-
agree.
I'm just saying.
I
I'm
agree.
saying
Yeah,
getting.
regardless,
Let's
yeah.
listen. If you're not in,
But
let's
like
just
for
say if
me,
you're
being
not
on skates with 5 other guys out there and trying to score, like skating is hard enough as it is, and now you're trying to hit a puck like
While guys are not
while guys are trying to
checking
knock
you.
you out. I mean,
I'm
like,
like, running on
so what
ice.
level like let's if you're saying like is hitting a if I've had baseball, if I played high school baseball per se, I have a little bit more of a knowing what to do when like a pitcher's coming at me.
Let's keep fighting out of it.
But
ring-
boxing's a sport.
Boxing's a sport.
I know, but you're gonna die. I think
I mean,
boxing's
like-
number. You'll die. You'll literally
He can
die.
hit you with a
Playing the
baseball
quarterback
and you'll
position.
die.
No,
Playing the
you don't
quarterback
die.
position.
yeah, you gotta imagine
You're not
that's
dying. You're wearing a helmet.
playing the quarterback position.
I'll let you wear a helmet too.
He's
What
not
you
even.
have
He,
to
does,
do.
he has no clue what you're saying right now. He's
Yeah,
locked
what are
in.
you talking about?
What?
What are you talking about?
No,
He said playing the quarterback position would also be very hard because you literally have defensive
have
linemen chasing you,
300-pound
and
linemen
you have to
trying
make good
to
reads.
keep
Not
you.
just you have Myles Garrett coming
Trying
after
to rip
you
your
with-
head off.
You have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack just coming at you. You're like,
Do you know what a weird one is that is not up there in the what we wouldn't put up there? Catching a punt. You're looking up.
I've
If
always
you
wanted to do
weren't
that.
allowed to
I've
fair
always wanted
catch-
to
I've done it before.
If you
It's so
were-
hard.
If you weren't allowed to fair catch, can you imagine
No
just
chance.
catching the ball
And
knowing
getting
you're about
wrecked.
to get
So hard.
Oh man.
Wait, so Jack, so you take an NBA player and you take yourself and you switch. Who's going to be more successful in the MLB or in the NBA?
If you and Zach
God.
Levine switch,
He's gonna have a
Well,
better
if
career.
it's Zach,
you played a little basketball, he played a little baseball. So I'm saying, you know
how
what
much
I mean?
time do we have to prepare?
No, just you go.
Oh goodness. I mean, I'm not stopping anybody out there. I'm 6'4". I think that was the craziest thing about the whole argument is like I'm 6'4" trying to run around with Steph and guys like that, like trying to cover them. Are you kidding me? Like,
Just
I got
hoping
no
they
hope.
miss.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can be within 5 feet of you as you're trying to take a shot.
Put it this way:
I think
I
you have a
would
better
cook him
chance. I
on the
think
basketball court, so the NBA guys would just destroy him.
Yeah,
It
but I
would-
think he could stand in the corner.
But you also cooked some other NBA
could play
players.
like a zone.
Yeah.
I think you have a better chance. Just because
Well, yeah,
baseball's that
yeah,
hard.
Yeah,
I
you have
think so,
help.
too.
Nothing against Zach Levine.
There's
You have
help,
help.
man. I got help behind me.
Baseball, you're on an island.
Hitting if you're trying to hit a baseball, like, yeah, you're on an island. If you're out there pitching, like, I have 7 other guys behind me.
The other funny thing about non-pitchers, like if you talk about like a guy like Zach, a guy like even us who like, you know, we played sports and stuff like that. If we go in one of those, you know how like at like fairs, state fairs, they have like where you throw it as hard as you can. And like you throw it as hard as you can, you look up and it's like in the 70s, and everyone's like, your arm is like falling off, and you're like, that was the 70s.
Yes.
Like there's
And
no way.
that's a meatball for a batter. That is a
And
meatball.
by the way, you're not even throwing it straight.
No.
No, that's the thing, and you're
it's
hanging
like-
after that.
Yeah.
I think the recovery aspect in all sports is crazy. Like,
Hence, recover 180.
Perfect
It's just
timing.
incredible. Perfect timing for us to talk about recover
Ooh, I
180
forgot about this yummy drink.
and our new
Interesting.
flavors right here, the Rocket Pop, which is incredible. It tastes
That
delicious.
reminds me of the 4th of July conversation that inspired the
that's
Dodgers
cool.
championship.
That's what I was looking at.
That's what it was.
It inspired me for that conversation.
All right, so Jack, I made a little list here. I want to know if you can name the MLB's highest paid players of this year
What is this list based off of? Is
per per year?
Per
Is it
year.
Is it
per-
with endorsements or without?
without
No.
endorsements.
So
This is-
Shohei's not on the list because Shohei's making $2 million this year.
No, technically Shohei's on the list. Shohei's
Okay,
number
well
one.
okay. So
Shohei's number one at $70 million.
so Shohei,
Sheesh.
Max Scherzer's on the list.
Scherzer's number two, $43 million.
Let's see here. It's a bunch of pitchers.
I don't see Jack's
It's a bunch of
name.
pitchers. I'm definitely not on that list.
It is a lot of
Gotta be Ju-
pitchers.
you gotta have Judge
Uh,
in there, no?
No. Judge was. I don't know. Is Judge on the
Aaron
list?
Judge on the list, number 5, $40 million.
Is Verlander on the list?
Verlander number 3 on the list, $43
What
million.
about DeGrom?
DeGrom number 4 on the list,
There you
$40
go.
million.
We
Five
got
for
the top
five.
5.
We got top 5.
Where's Cole? Where's Garrett Cole on the list?
Number 8, $36 million.
Let me think
Couple
here.
more, you're close.
What was
Mookie?
Soto's last?
Nope,
Mookie,
no
no.
Soto.
Think of Nationals
be
and
up there.
Angels. Nationals and Angels.
He will be up there this week.
Nationals and Angels.
Nationals and Angels.
Oh,
Well,
Trout.
Trout.
Trout's on there, number 7,
You're saying
$37 million.
Rendon's on there?
Huh?
You're not saying Anthony Rendon.
Rendon, $38.5 million, number 6 on the list.
What
How
about
more do we have?
Stanton? Is Stanton
Two
still
more
up there?
than
Stan,
Last two
Stan's
are-
not on there.
Last two are
Last
both
two are
Nationals.
Nationals.
They're both, so they're definitely not Nationals. So it's Bryce.
Actually, no Bryce.
Wow.
Trey Turner.
No Trey Turner.
They're both Nationals.
That's what it says.
Currently, they're not. They're definitely not Nationals, unless I'm.
Patrick Corbin,
blanking. Oh, Patrick Corbin. Yeah.
number 9, $35.4 million.
Who's- Good for
Another
good
pitcher.
For you. Number 10. I don't.
A lot of
I have
pitchers.
no idea.
Steven Strasburg.
Oh,
35
Strauss,
million.
Okay. Yeah,
Did
That
a
was
good
pretty
list.
good. Though.
Did
You
he
got most of
retire?
the list.
it's a good list.
Strasburg retired?
You did very well. The fact that you got the top 5 and then a couple
Most
more
of
is
them
good.
are pitchers. Most of them
Yeah.
should have been making even more money.
Pitchers get paid very well, apparently.
They should have been making even more money.
You want them to
This
pay more
point.
money.
I think everybody should make more money. Soto should break the bank for
He's gonna
whatever
make
he
a lot of
wants. He 100% should break the bank.
Could he be your teammate next
He
year?
should keep going up. Well,
Well,
yeah,
it
we both
depends
have
on
to
where
end
they
up in the
both
same
go.
place. I mean, you never
I
know.
don't think the
you
Dodgers
never
can
know what
afford that
happens.
many people.
Well,
You never know what happens.
Frank, I want to do one thing. I want Austin to end the show like we always do, but I want to go outside and I want to see. We're gonna get 10 pitches of one wiffle ball at bat. You versus him. Wiffle ball. We're
With
gonna
a
put it to
wiffle
the
ball.
test. Wiffle ball. So it's not. You don't have to be
I'm
worried
still
about
a
getting hit
free
by
agent.
this.
I gotta keep my
wiffle
arm
ball.
intact.
No, we gotta do
One
this.
at bat.
me with the
We
wiffle
gotta
ball.
do
by
One,
the
one
way.
at bat. So
I
not 10
have to
pitches.
keep
One
my
at
arm
bat.
intact.
You can actually hit me with the wiffle ball.
I have to keep my arm intact.
We
He's
got
gonna-
one. We got
He's
one at
gonna
bat.
go
I
hit
gotta
this.
see this.
I don't
He's
know if
gonna
you
go hit
recognize
this.
this ball. Look, touch the ball. See it?
This is your World Series ball.
No, look at it. See if you can feel it, like how it was,
What about it?
and then you see this part.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to capture the ball that you pitched to Stanton. And this is the
Did that hit the parking lot, Coach? Is that what that was?
That is the mark of a Giancarlo Stanton.
That ain't the ball.
This is the
I know
ball,
that for a
Coach.
fact. That ain't the
This
ball.
is the ball.
That does not say
Coach.
postseason on it.
This is
I
the
know
ball.
for a
It says
fact that ain't the
postseason
ball.
right here. World
Uh-huh.
Series ball.
Yeah,
postseason.
does not say World Series on it.
So I
It's
just
a
want to
good
make
try.
sure you knew that this is the ball.
I don't know if his ball's been found yet.
Oh, I found it.
Uh-huh.
I found
All
it.
right. Well,
Uh-huh.
we do one segment, Jack, before we end the show with our guests. We do a dream king of the court. So this is you playing one-on-one with like 3-4 people of your choice. Can be any sport, any person, anyone all time. Who would your
Dead,
dream-
alive, anyone.
Dead, alive. Who would your dream king of the court be?
So me and 3 others?
Yep.
3 or 4, doesn't matter.
Just to have a conversation with him while you're posting.
Not
them up.
competitive. Yeah, just for fun.
We know one of them.
Yeah, who's one of them?
Kendall Jenner.
No, he's going to definitely say Kobe.
I'm going to say Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm going to say...
Kendall Jenner.
I'm
Knowing
going to
Jack,
We
It's
say...
didn't
be
say
like-
Dream Night. We said Dream King of the Court,
Knowing
okay?
Jack, it's gonna be like Kendall, Emrata.
No, I'm
Haley
going to
Bieber.
say... I'm going to say Kobe. I'm going to say Jason, because if I score on him, he'll never hear the end of it.
Tatum.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a big fan. I got to get him a Jason jersey, you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness! Please, that's all I want. All I want is him is Jason
You
to
watched
sign
the
a jersey.
Netflix doc and now you're
Please,
hooked.
that's all I need is that. They also clipped one of those things completely wrong in the Netflix documentary.
But don't hold your breath. I've been holding my breath for my jersey.
Frankie's out of breath.
me.
You have a St. Louis one.
No, I'm talking about the
Oh,
Jason
for
Tatum one.
Jason? Yeah, who knows?
I do have a game
Right
right off the bat
hang
from
on,
him.
1, 2,
St. Louis Cardinal one.
Kobe, Jason, Allen Iverson,
Oh, okay.
and
Doesn't have to be. Just so
and
you know,
Russell
it do-
Westbrook.
I was going to say, it doesn't have to be basketball. Could be anything.
Russell Westbrook. We can make
No,
it
I
happen.
want all
Russ-
hoopers.
all hoopers.
I like that.
Yeah.
A competitive
Hey,
king of the court.
Well, we
He's-
can make 2
he's
of those
getting
happen.
skunked in that.
That's
King of
fine.
the Court, I'll tell you
If
that
I
much.
score on any of them, then that's all I need. That's all I need. It's like them
Well,
trying to
you're-
get a hit off of
You're
me.
not scoring, I promise.
You never know. I might get lucky. All I gotta do is throw it up.
All right, well, that's a wrap on the show, Jack. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. I think the boys had a great time.
And don't forget, bro.
Don't forget.
Oh, Jack-
Go
Pre-order
get
your
it.
copy, #1 right now on Amazon in the sports
Stop.
category.
This is what
Bullshitting
Jack reads
yourself,
before he
Jack.
pitches every
That's what I
night.
need.
This
That's
is
what I
all
need
you
right
need
there.
to read now.
100%.
You don't have to listen to his voice anymore.
I have
You
to
can just
block
read
his number
this.
once I
You
read
can
this.
block his number, and you can go in here, just imagine his voice, and just remember when he's telling you, like, "Hey, man, you suck. You suck today, man. But hey, good job. But you sucked. You like have an amazing outing, and it's like, hey, you sucked, but good job, man. You only had 10 strikeouts, but you've had 11.
That's all he wants me to do is strike guys out. It's everything he says.
Dude,
to me.
I just
Strike
don't
guys out
understand.
and
I'm
miss
like, the
bats.
guys up there, just strike them out. He's like, bro, I'm getting batters out. I'm like, just put them out. Like, strike them out every
He just-
time.
He wants
More,
punch
more,
outs.
more.
Hey,
More.
strike him out.
That's what we're trying to do.
Hey,
Jack,
or
Jack Flaherty pitching more, more,
None
more.
of that. That's your strikeout sign. Right
that's
there.
what, hey, you know when he wins the game, he immediately looks up and goes, and you know what that means. It's shot o'clock, coach.
Yes, it is,
All right,
Coach.
till next week. We're out. Peace.